Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Daily Hire with your host, Matt McGregor and Tone Vase. The more astute of you of our audience guests might notice that I'm still using my mobile phone. It can't be helped. There's a word for it in Japanese. It's shogunai. It's a really sophisticated word that means can't be helped in English. Tone, good morning, mate. How are you?
Morning, good. I am back in Panama City, where I got my workstation. Yeah, we'll do it just like yesterday. Not a big deal.
Yeah,
Uh,
thank you.
yeah, let's get started. I guess I should go right into screen share, huh?
Before you do that, Justin from Black Box, my partner in Black Box, and I did a fantastic pre-recorded show today. I went to my mother-in-law's house to do that to film that, and we're having trouble downloading it off the internet, but we'll be releasing that as soon as that's available. It's a fantastic show. We'll be dropping it here on the Financial Summit Network. I really urge you to watch that. It goes through bang box to the release that we're having on Monday, but more so than that. I thought that Justin's analysis using Wyckoff on the current state of the market was absolutely sensational. I really, uh, I really urge you to watch that. So that'll be coming hopefully tomorrow, maybe tonight. I'm not sure, but please like, subscribe, please share with your friends, and please use the affiliate links in the description below. Tone, take us away, mate.
All right. Let's go to screen share. The market is actually pumping, and I'm going to begin with my allocation chart. As I updated my little graphic yesterday that I was going to enter 50% by end of day Friday. I have not yet entered. Today is Friday, and I am entering today no matter what. I'm not even sure if I would rather enter at 65 and a half, or I would rather enter at say 63 and a half. And here's my explanation. Everyone is like, well, Tone, that's such a silly statement. Of course you would rather enter at 63 and a half. Why would you rather enter at 65 and a half? And that's because I don't trade or think like the average person. It's not about how low of a price you get. It's about your confidence on whether that particular trade is going to be profitable or not. Okay. I don't want to enter at 63 and a half on the way down and then be pissed the next day when it's at 62. I would rather enter at 65 and a half with full confidence that we're going to be at 67 when we open on Monday, which would be the way more likely scenario if we are sitting at 65 and a half by end of day. So this morning, about what, 20 minutes ago, if I go to the very short-term chart, I mean, we are pumping with market open, so there could easily be a 10 a.m. reversal. But if I look at the current hour, like this pump, if I even go to like 5 minutes, this pump literally just happened. 5 minutes. In the last 5 minutes, it's almost like watching this as we are hitting the live button. It's a 5 minute chart, Matt. Your
I have to check if Bangbox is in a trade right now. Just why
inbox might
on
be
my
in a trade. Yeah. I mean, look at
keep
this.
going.
And so this is the last 5 minutes. So uh, either way, I'm planning to enter after 10 a.m. today into the trade, and I don't care if it's at 64 or at 65. It doesn't matter to me at all. Now, I was all ready to enter at 64 as well, but either way, I'm entering today, and the more bullish we are today, the more confidence I have that next week is going to be absolutely awesome for the price of Bitcoin. So I'm happy here. I think a 10 a.m. reversal will definitely pull us back. I think I'll get a chance to enter closer to 64 and a half or below. And if not, I'm perfectly happy in entering at 65 and above. But like I was saying for the last 2 days, time has been my friend. I watched this pullback. I do have this MRI on a daily chart, which I didn't expect actually. I didn't think we would pump like this. This is good. I actually like the samurai top because we have been consolidating for 4 or 5 days now. I do not see this daily MRI top as something to fear. I like the consolidated MRI tops for continuation of trends into the next, or perhaps a second consecutive MRI top. As an example, here's one to the downside where we were falling and then we were basically consolidating for the last 4 candles. Now we're consolidating for even the last 5 candles because we are literally at the same price we were 4 days ago. So this is the 4th candle of consolidation. This was the 3rd candle of consolidation where the price was identical 4 days ago, and it was even pretty much the same the prior 2 days where it fell all the way here. So you can say that this was a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and even a 5.5, 6-day consolidation. And what did it lead to? Well, it led to one more minor swing high on the following day, and then a continuation of trend, which was not a consolidation at all at the end. You can see the big crash, the candle before the MRI buy candle on the 2nd consecutive. And now we had way more of a rally coming off of that. We still got rejected by the moving average, but a lot more confidence buying into this MRI here back on June 25th versus buying into this MRI on June 16th. For a proper example on the way up with the daily chart, here's a good example. We rallied nicely into an MRI top. Now, this is the type of MRI that does tend to lead to a bigger correction. This is a nice doji candle. It was a clear top. There was no consolidation at all. What am I expecting? I'm expecting a pullback into a moving average, a significant one. We didn't get that. But what we got was a massive consolidation that lasted for over a week, right? Because remember, price corrects through time or through price. When it did not correct through price, it was correcting through time. So your short trade here goes absolutely nowhere. It doesn't lose you any money, and eventually, goes down a smidge, comes back to here, and that's it. And then you gotta say, hey, you know what? I tried on the short trade, it didn't work. It's now consolidated into the moving average instead of pulling back into it. It's time to cut bait and get rid of it. Right now, had this massive consolidation started 4 candles earlier, well, you move everything back 4 candles, and now this rise starts to happen a lot sooner, right next to the MRI top. Let's see if there is another good example here. But again, this is not a consolidated MRI top. This is more of a blow-off MRI top. We consolidated for a bit, then pulled back. I'm looking for an exact match. Hard to find. Maybe something like this. Again, a consolidated MRI at the top just led to more consolidation. So I am not really looking for a big correction here of the current daily MRI top. I'm just looking for more consolidation or a near-term breakout. The longer we consolidate here, the higher the chances we break higher. Also, on the allocation chart, the long-term moving average, while slightly declining, is pretty much flat. And the only reason why it's declining right now is if I go back 30 candles, that is 30 candles. You can see that for the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles, and then a 6th, the price is hovering above, I guess this blue line that I have from the thing that I just drew. So the moment the price gets above this area, the moment the price gets above 67.5, what happens at that moment is the moving average will start to turn up. It'll start to turn up because we're now replacing these candles with the candles that are closing higher. Am I still? I had a little internet outage. We're good, right?
You're good, mate.
Great. So right now we're replacing these 5 candles that are going to start to come off the long-term moving average that are basically closing between the dotted line and the upper bound with the candles that are about to be between the lower bound and the dotted line. So I'm okay with that. We are in the consolidation zone. And even if we stay in this consolidation zone for 5 candles, we're unable to break 68.5, but we are above 65. if we get stuck between 65 and 68 and a half for the next 4-day candles, the long-term moving average would actually start to rise because we will now be replacing these candles that are below the zone with the candles that are in the zone. And again, this makes me perfectly comfortable going in 50% today. And if we are in this, if we are breaking this dotted line or even close to this dotted line, I'm going to go back to a 100% allocation. And which would still be better than my original exit, right? Because right now I exited 80% at pretty much the current price. And I avoided, all these sleepless nights and potentially exiting out of fear at the low at 53 and a half.
Mm.
Okay. And the weekly chart is, well, it's pretty interesting. We are still stuck at resistance. We're in a downward slope, but I would love to see that green star candle on the next candle. However, we have rallied a lot. If we do get this green star candle, next candle, I don't think we're gonna break out. I really don't. I think this path is unlikely, but a slow consolidation and then a breakout. Like I still think the breakout is not happening until September, but I think we're gonna be in the above 60. So both things are true. I still think the breakout is September, October, probably September. But a move below 60,000 has also now become a bit unlikely. Okay. Matt, any other announcements before I glance at traditional markets?
Yeah, please just come off screen share for a second. I want to
Sure.
share something with you. I'm busting at the gut to tell you, mate. Busting at the I really want everyone to watch the show that Justin and I did today. I'm trying my best to release it. In that show, I went through 6 reasons why I'm bullish. Bullish is bullish is bullish. And they're all coinciding at the same point. I'll just quickly go through them on paper here, but you got to see the show to really experience it. I'll just they're in no order. I think the weekly green star is coming in on the MRI very, very soon. I think alphanumerics wave is about to flip green, which you absolutely need exposure to Bitcoin every time that wave flips green. There's no question about it. Baloo did an insane analysis on the Wyckoff. What's it? Not distribution. What's the other one? Whatever. Watch the show. The Wyckoff accumulation that's going on right now, and when that jumps the creek, that coincides perfectly with a changing of the green wave on alphanumerics. The EXA is going to cross to give you a phantom signal. The copy curve is going to cross to give you a phantom signal. The EXA on the weekly time frame has already crossed at a really low vantage point, and the classical charting pattern of putting in a higher low after lower highs, lower highs. All 6 of those things, I believe, are going to come in on the same week or on the same month at least. That is, I don't have any more stronger buy signal than the 6 most important things in the world to me, all happening in the same time frame and all cracking through, leading to higher prices. When we went through the charts today, and I saw the Wyckoff thing in it, which I would never ever look at, but how it's so neatly tied into everything that I was looking here at the back end. I'm extremely bullish, Tony, and I agree with you. Get long, mate. Get long at this point. I'm fully, really confident in the Bitcoin price right now. We'll see what happens, and I can change my mind and I can get out, whatever. I really, really, really like the setup that we have right now. Stay tuned and watch that show. It'll be posted as soon as possible. It was a cracker. Please like, subscribe. Please share it with your friends, and please use the affiliate links in the group below. Monday, we're releasing the first iteration of Bangbox. It is absolutely fantastic. You've got to get on board with that. The best free trading bot the world's ever seen. Tone, what are traditional markets? Are they still crashing? Are they still pulling back, mate? Have they picked up to close the week strong?
All right, let's go and take a look. Real quick on alphanumerics. The last time the wave went bullish, it stayed bullish and rallied super, super nicely, right? And let's take a look. So if I get right here, we were bullish for a while, and the price went up 60%. The time before that, we were bullish also for like at least 3 months. This is the weekly chart. And the price went up also 60%. The time before
Yeah,
that was this massive
that's a bad,
choppy consolidation.
yeah, bad one.
Right. But since the moment the price went bullish, into the red, it still was profitable for 14%. You just have to catch that second candle, that second week, where all of that actually took place. And
Yeah, as long as if you closed it just when the wave went red, which you could have done with the other ones, yeah, I mean that was a really bad time of consolidation. But you go back even further than that time, I challenge you to find a worse time than that. It works, dude. It works. You
well,
want
it was a
exposure
bad
when the wave's green.
it was a bad time, but it was still, in profit, right? Like it goes
Yeah,
red on this it goes green on this candle where the price is 26. It goes red on the candle before the crash, and the price was at 29. So as bad as it was still profitable. And
that
that's
was that was
the
a that was a losing trade because it went green on that pump and got red on the dump. So that was the only one really that didn't work out. The rest did.
uh yeah, oh right, because it crossed it at the top of that
Right.
candle. I see it now. I
Yep.
see. Okay. Yeah, so that was the only one, but you're
Yep.
right, it
Only
was,
one.
but it would have crossed it there. So that's a loss of about three. Oh, it would have crossed down here. I
Yep.
see it.
Yep.
Okay, so
A
that
bit
is a
higher than that.
10%.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, yeah. That is a 10% losing candle, but I'm surprised why it's red on this candle and not this candle. A little strange there. See what I mean? Shouldn't the
Yeah.
red start here?
It will. It's higher than that. It's modified, so it's actually higher than that. It just drops it back to the start. It might have crossed on like the first day of the week or something like that on the last it would
Okay.
make
Oh
sense
well,
if you go
well,
back.
we'll talk offline.
Yeah,
We'll talk offline on this.
there'll
Um,
be a reason. I'll be able to find the reason.
yeah. We'll talk offline on this. And then the time before, it looked really, really good.
Insane,
Again,
insane. Yeah,
crosses here, crosses down
yeah.
here, uh, exits over there. Okay. Anyway, so that's the wave, but the wave will not go green until you cross. Well, next week it's definitely going to drop down. So until it
Yeah.
crosses about 68. So we'll see. I still think there's time before it crosses 68. I still think it's going to take a few more weeks. I don't think it's going to pump next week, but you never know. All right, real quick look at uh, well, the cycles, we are right in line with the low end of the cycles, but sometime in August, they start to rise historically. I want to look at how many Bitcoins were purchased or sold by the ETFs yesterday. I have not seen this data yet. We're looking at it together. And only 500, but hey, still positive. GBTC keeps selling, but mostly BlackRock is buying. So yeah, surprised ARK sold a bunch. Interesting. But yeah, my numbers are still positive. So far, it's a good week. Over, 12,000 coins purchased this week. That's pretty good. Let's see how today goes. If today's a big bullish day, probably be another few thousand. Probably be about 15,000 Bitcoin purchased this week by the ETFs. Gold's pulling back a little bit. I still think gold is good for a nice pump for the rest of the year. The S&P had a really bad day yesterday. That kind of slowed Bitcoin down. Today, the S&P is holding steady. The daily S&P has pulled back to a decent area. It pulled back into an area of support of the moving average. We're about the weekly. The weekly is having a bad candle. Let's see if this is just going to be a 1 to 4 candle correction or something more. My worst case scenario for the S&P is a move down to 5,350. Here's the S&P futures, not doing great this morning. Bitcoin is counter trending the S&P. That's a very strong sign. I think the S&P is going to reverse. I don't think this is a big top historically. I think it's going to reverse, and when it does, I think it's going to help Bitcoin significantly. Here is Tesla. Tesla is still pulling back slowly. Here's Nvidia. Nvidia, I don't like the Nvidia chart. I think Nvidia has more room to the downside. That's what's likely going to pull the NASDAQ down. Someone asked for BLK. I'll look at that quickly. BlackRock. BlackRock is still looking very strong, just a very minor pullback. And finally, the NASDAQ itself. As you guys know, this is my worst case scenario for the NASDAQ, just like with the S&P, a move down 11% into the prior swing high. I'm not even sure it's going to fall that low, but that is the worst case scenario at the moment. The MRI support is holding it, and we can get a daily MRI buy on the NASDAQ next week. That would be very, very bullish. I'm hoping that the NASDAQ stays flat today, stays flat Monday, drops on Tuesday, but then recovers and holds the MRI support while printing an MRI buy. If I get a reversal candle on Tuesday, or even on Monday, right? The reversal doesn't have to be on the MRI candle. It could be the candle before. I would love to see a reversal candle on Monday, a Monday morning bit of a crash, recovery, get this Monday hammer candle, reversal without breaking the MRI buy, follow through on Tuesday to the upside, breaking the top of the hammer. That would be a bullish sign for me on the NASDAQ. And I think at that moment, all the markets will reverse. But we still have to, be careful that we are still dealing with a weekly MRI top. But now we've already gone 2 candles of a correction out of 4. And we are still dealing with a monthly MRI, disastrous looking candle. And the month is not even over yet. So we're still keeping all that in mind. But if we get a daily indication of a reversal, that would be good enough to take a stab at it for future bullishness. That is it for me. Unless Matt has any questions, we'll wrap it up.
No, mate, that's fantastic. Let's wind up the week on a happy note.
All right, let me come on screen share. All right, we're good.
Thanks again for sharing the week with us, guys. It was a really terrific week. Bitcoin has recovered very nicely. It looks like we're going into a nice weekly close. I feel great about Bitcoin right now, and I hope you all do too. Have a wonderful weekend, and please join us next week. Please look out for the show I did with Justin. It's an absolute cracker. I think it's the best show I've ever done. So I really urge you to watch it. Tone?